Any doubt in question 1? Question 2? Question 2, okay. In question 2, it's related to the moment question. A center of gravity is there, and a stone has a weight of 415 Newton and a length of 0.9 meters. The length of a stone beyond the edge of a step is 0.5 meters, as shown. The center of the gravity of a stone is shown as well. Calculate the P. So example, this is a force P we want to calculate, and the weight is acting downward. So what will happen that whenever object is like you see a point of rotation, so you have to use a moment, the clockwise and anti-clockwise moment will be equal. So the weight is there, which is 415 newtons. With direction, this will cause a rotation. This will try to cause a rotation in a clockwise direction. And what is a pivot here? So this will be the point of rotation or a pivot. Because like this is a step, okay? And on the step, we place a brick is there, I guess. A stone is there or a brick, which is having a weight W. So this will try to cause a rotation around which point it will rotate. So this will be the point of rotation. So the point here, this will be the point of rotation. So it will cause a clockwise rotation. So it will be 415 times. We always take a distance from the pivot. So how much is this distance? What will be this distance? Because here is an object. A weight is acting downward. So it will be 0.05. How you will get 0.05 this distance? This total, this will be because it will be half of it. So this will be 0.45 and this is also 0.45. So, and this one is 0.5. From the step to the end. So how much is the remaining distance? So remaining distance, it will be 0.5 minus 0.45. So the remaining of this distance will be equals to 0.05. So this is the point of rotation and here is the distance. So this distance is 0.05. So weight is acting downward. This will cause a clockwise rotation. So it will be 415 times 0.05 equals to the force P is there, which is causing an anti-clockwise rotation. And how much is the distance here? So you have to take a distance from the pivot. So this is the point of rotation. So how much is this distance? What will the distance from? So we'll subtract. It will be 0.4. So 0.40, it will be 0.4. So that is 0.4. So P into 0.4. If you need P, that will go there in division. So 415 times 0.05 divided by 0.4. That will give us a value for P. 51.87 or 51.9. That is the value for P. Is it clear, this one? Question 3, any doubt? Question 3, 4, 5. What about subtract 0.5? Yeah, why we subtract 0.5 from 0.54? See, we always take a distance of the force, the perpendicular distance of the force from the pivot. So this was a pivot, like around this point, this object will rotate. So this is a point of rotation. And this total distance was 0.45 because the weight is acting at the center. So this is 0.5 and this one is 0.45. So what is the distance here? The perpendicular distance. So that is 0.05. So weight is acting downward. 415 and cause a rotation, a clockwise rotation. So 415 times 0.05. And a force P is there, and a distance from the pivot is how much? Because this is a point of rotation, this total distance was 0.45. So 0.45 is total distance. We subtract, so we got 0.4 here. So this P is causing an anti-clockwise and weight is causing a clockwise turning effect. And the two moments should be balanced. Like we consider it is balanced. Practically, it won't be if it flip, but we assume that the two moments are balanced whenever you're solving a question related to turning effect. Question 3. Okay. A trampoline gives a gymnast a maximum upward acceleration of 14.2 meters per second square. Calculate the maximum upward force from a trampoline on this athlete or gymnast. The mass is 58. Now, what about the resultant force here? We use a formula like resultant because it is an acceleration. So F is equals to ma. When example he's in contact, so he's in contact here. So the two forces which are acting, his weight is acting downward, and there's an upward force, a reaction force we call P. Or you can also say R or P or F. So example, the reaction force is R. He is accelerating upward. If he is accelerating upward, which force is greater, R or weight? Which is a greater force? The reaction force or the weight? If he is accelerating upward. Yeah, so it means R is greater because he's going up. So it means, as we know, the resultant force is equals to ma. So, and this resultant force is equals to what? The resultant force should be equals to R minus W. So R minus W is equals to ma. So R is equals to W plus ma or ma plus W. Order is not important. So mass into expression plus weight. You have the mass, you have the acceleration, you can work out the weight by mass into gravity. So R will be equals to ma plus mg. So G is a gravity we have, M is a mass we have. So we have all the factors. So we can work out what is the upward force, the maximum upward force acting on him. The final answer will be, yeah, it will be 1390 Newton. That's right. That's correct. Is it clear? You just have to substitute the values and get the final answer. Next is question 4. Any doubt? Question 4. Question 5. Question 4. Question 4, you have to write a structure answer here, like in the question dimension. A question 4, student connect a signal generator to a loudspeaker. The student arranged the metal plates in front of a loudspeaker and left a gap between the metal plates. The sound wave from a loudspeaker passes through a gap where approximately same size as a wavelength. The student stood at point X and heard a loud sound. A student walked in a straight line in the direction of the arrow. As her position changed, the sound became quieter until she heard no sound. So as she's moving in this direction, like here, it's a maximum, and here at certain positions, a minimum. Explain why the sound become quieter until with a no sound. Explain, you should reference to interference. So first thing, the sound waves which are produced by the speaker, the loudspeaker, when it passes through a gap, it will diffract and there will be a maximum diffraction. Why there is a maximum diffraction? Because the wavelength of a wave which we are using equivalent to the gap size, as they already mentioned. So first point, you will mention that the maximum diffraction will occur because the gap size is equals to the wavelength. Then at point X, why there is a maxima? So at point X, this wave which travel from these slits they have a path difference of zero. When they have a path difference of zero, like the path difference is zero wavelength, so as a result, what will happen? It will be a maxima or a constructive interference will take place. As we move from X to position, like vertically, so there will be a point where the two waves have a path difference of lambda by 2 or a phase difference of pi radian, like 180 degrees or a pi by 2. So in that case, there will be a destructive interference, means the crest of the one wave will join with the trough of another, so they cancel out the effect of each other, and we'll have no sound, or we cannot hear a sound there. So how you scored 6 marks? 1 mark you will mention that when the wave passing through a gap, it will diffract more maximum because the gap size is equals to the wavelength. And why at point X will, the second point, second mark, at point X, why we will hear a loud sound? Because it's a constructive interference. The two waves have a phase difference of zero. So 1 mark for mentioning constructive interference, and 1 mark for mentioning a phase difference or a path difference. So you got 3 marks, like overall. Then as we move from X, the phase difference will change. That is 1 more mark. And then there will be a destructive interference at a point where we don't hear any sound. It means the path difference will be lambda by 2, or a phase difference will be pi radian, or the two waves will be antiphase. Antiphase means like crest of the one is joining with the trough of another, or 180 out of phase. Is it clear, this one? You have to write the structure answer for this question. So this was a structure pop quiz 9. Now the questions in the pop quiz, like I will increase now the question in the pop quiz as we are about to complete the syllabus, like electrical circuits left, as well as a fundamental particle physics, as well as the, for Edexcel student, they have one additional topic, which is about the fluid dynamics or fluid motion, that is left for them. So the structure pop quiz, the number of the question I will increase.